Good morning everyone, welcome back to the channel. So thank you to everybody that commented on my haul video and some of the pages that they would like to see done. And there was quite a few people that would like to see a page in Brambly Hedge's nature colouring book by Jill Barklam. Now, I have been sent an incredible gift of these little books. I'm going to do a separate video on some of the gifts that I've been receiving because they are wonderful and they all deserve a little bit of time and attention for you to see. So the page I've chosen is this one, and it's actually a hybrid. Oh, it's not, it's actually this page. I was thinking it was a hybrid of the two, but it's not. It's this little page here, and it's really cute. But also it has got Mrs. Apple down in the corner, which is a few pages back here. So I thought it'd give us a bit of an opportunity to play around with some colours. So I've got out my Winsor & Newton Cotman set, which I try to keep now for doing YouTube videos with, so you all know what I'm using. They're really lovely paints and quite affordable. So the colours I've got out, I don't know how this is going to work, so maybe we should just do one colour at a time. That might be a plan, actually. So why don't we just try, this is the picture that I'm using here. I think maybe we should just go in with a little bit of a wash of green, maybe. So actually the colours I've got are raw sienna, lemon yellow, I took them out because it's easier for me to tell you, burnt sienna, hooker's green, oh no, emerald green, sorry, I changed my mind, and ultramarine. So I thought we could try a little bit. Let's try a little bit on our mouse. So I've got a number 6 round brush here, number 5, sorry, round brush, and it is a Winsor & Newton foundation brush. So it's nothing fancy schmancy, it's their like sort of everyday range. But they're one of my favourite brushes, and they're synthetic, so they're not going to hold and soak up as much water as a natural bristles brush would, which is great for a book like this. But it does feel like it's got, I don't know, like it'll cope with putting an undercoat of watercolour on. So we're going to try. So we're going to take a little bit of this raw sienna, very watered down as you can see, and I'm going to start with our little mousey here. I just need to see how the paper will cope. So I'm nothing fancy, I am just doing an undercoat here. Just put a little bit more colour on because it will dry very pale. You can see my little paint thing as well. So I'm going to try not to go overboard because it's, do you know what, it's working beautifully. Look at that. We can do his little hand. Anywhere else? Under his neck is a different colour. Oh yeah, our little lady in the window here. Now it comes up and round her nose here, and then there's a little pale patch around her eye, but we can do that with pencil, hopefully over the top. And we'll just put that in. Oh, this is going to be exciting, folks. This is going to be exciting. Let me bring you in. That might help so that you can see the image, Lucy. That's why the people are here. Okay, so what else can we do? The primroses. Let's take a little bit of the lemon yellow. Okay, that's very bright. So I'm going to water it down. When it goes on the page, as you see, it will go much lighter the more water we put on there. So let's colour these primroses in, well, give them a base coat. I am very impressed actually with how this paper is handling this. It's only a tiny bit of water, I'm not ladling it on, it's just a tiny bit of water, and all this will do is just give us a base coat, take away the white of the paper, or the cream of the paper in this case, and gives us a head start. we don't have to work so hard at blending with pencils. Now the last time I did this book, I'm pretty certain I used the Chroma Flows, and they worked sublimely on this paper. So I don't know whether we should do that again, because they do have spectacular colours, Derwent. There we go, some little primroses. Is there any more? There's one here. Any more? No, that's it. Okay. Then I'm going to take the Hooker's Green, which is quite Emerald Green, sorry, I did change my mind. That is very bright, very, very bright. So I'm going to water that down a lot, because I just want a sort of a bit of a wash on these leaves down here. I'm going to try not to be so precise with it. Just sort of dab it in there, and then the pencils can do the rest. But I would think all these images were watercolour originally. Aren't they gorgeous? So, but I will do a separate video on, because I've had, yesterday, had some more beautiful books turned up. I think they're some more yellow there. Another beautiful book turned up, and with some pennies that I was given for my birthday, I've ordered something really rather special. Not expensive, but really rather special. Okay. So we've got that. Any more? Yeah, let's do the ivy leaves at the top, and then with pencil over the top we can change all these all this one monotone up, and put in pencils to liven it up a bit. Now I could do this, now I know that it takes water like this. I might have a go at doing one of the bigger images entirely in watercolour and see how I get on. But that would be really good fun, I think, anyway. So I'm not going to mix the watercolours up because it's hard to follow when somebody does that, but I am going to put the Hooker's Green down here. Emerald Green, sorry. I had it in my mind that it was going to be Hooker's Green, and then changed my mind to Emerald because it was bright and would give us a lovely sort of undercolour. Okay. Yeah, so I might have a go at doing this, doing one of the big images with watercolour. Now I know people don't like, you know, they're not keen on watching me do that, so I probably won't do that on camera. This is burnt sienna, and I'm going to put that in the tree. Probably won't look too much different from our little mice, because everything's been so watered down. Put that in the tree. And some in here. Oh, gone in the green. That's okay, that wouldn't be a problem actually, because there's a lot of green in there, so I might drop a little bit of green in there. So let's take what's left of the Hooker's Green and chuck some of that in there too. That'll darken up that brown, and we can just have... Who's that? Somebody's ringing me. Suspected spam. Goodbye. Yeah, we'll just drop a little bit of that Hooker's Green in around here, like that. That's tree. A bit more of the burnt sienna in here. And that'll give us a nice sort of playful undertone to have with on our tree. Okay, right, what colour has... Oh, he's got a... Let's do the burnt sienna because of his waistcoat. Let's put a little bit more on. Right, his waistcoat is like a burnt sienna, so let's put that in. Yeah, I think the Chroma Flows will be perfect for this. So he's got a little burnt sienna waistcoat. There we go. I'm definitely going to have a go at doing some watercolour in here. That's very exciting. And it's coping brilliantly. It's a little crinkle, but nothing that when we go over with pencils won't resolve. Okay, and then he's got like denim colour trousers and a blue jacket. So we'll use the ultramarine. Okay, so his trousers are darker, so I'll go in with a less of a wash. Less of a watered down version. So I'll be able to let you know by doing this undercoat. By the end of the video we'll know whether or not the paper really crinkles up or whether it just smooths out afterwards. I've got a feeling we're just going to see it smooth out. So I'm watering down that ultramarine to go on his jacket, which is a much lighter blue. But just by using water we can get lots of different shades, so that helps. There we go. Okay, I am not going to try and get his tail done. That's white. There is a very dark blue background, so we'll put more ultramarine back in that watery wash, and behind her is blue curtains, which we'll go over again with pencil, which have got a little pattern on them, and then a blue, dark blue, but it's dark blue behind her. Just fill that up. Pick up that bit of cloth. Let me pick up that little puddle before it dries like that. There we go. Alright, so we've got the dark blue behind her. What else? I've missed a couple of leafy bits here, so I'll just take a little bit more of that emerald green. Couple of leaf bits here and there. Let's fill that up. Okay, the window is like a yellowy green, so I think I'm going to mix, let me move you over, a tiny bit of the emerald green with the lemon yellow. So a little bit more lemon yellow and water. A tiny bit more hooker's green. Ooh, look at that lime green colour. Isn't that cool? Yeah, let's use that in the window. On the window frame. I mean, none of this is permanent. If you make a mistake here and it's a light wash, your pencils are going to cover straight over it anyway, so don't be panicky about it. Unless it's like really dark, then you might have a bit of a problem, but and I've missed a little bit of a curtain there, which is blue. Dry off my... There we go. Alright, undercoat done, I think. She is got a pinky coloured hat, but I think we'll just go in with pencil, maybe. What have I got here? The permanent rose might be quite nice, just as a base. Let's just get that out. Let me see. Yeah, permanent rose. Let's just have a little bit of that, and then we've covered everything with just going to bring this lime out into that window. Yeah, like that. we've covered everything then with watercolour. And don't panic if you don't want to do the watercolour base. You know, we are going to use pencil, so this is Permanent Rose. It's an absolutely spectacular colour. And we're going to just very carefully cover her little hat in Permanent Rose. Now if I was doing this as watercolour, I would have more concentrated colour on here. I wouldn't water it down so much, but because we're going to go over it with pencil, it just seems fine. It is fine just to do a wash over everything. So I am going to did we use all these colours? We did we? Yeah. So I'm going to let that dry. I'm not going to air dry it because that will make the page go crinkly, and it's such a precious book. But look, let me move you over. Look, it's not suffered at all. There's nothing. And as it's drying out, there's absolutely nothing. That page is smooth. Okay, so move my stuff out of the way. And I will meet you back here when that is dry, and we'll go in with our pencils and get this picture done. I thought this one, if you're interested, maybe we could do it on Monday as a mini one, because she's very cute, Mrs. Apple, and she deserves to have colour in her life. Alright, I'll see you in a second. Okay, I'm back. It's so hot in the UK today, so I'm melting. Okay, I think you need to make sure that it's perfectly dry before you start putting any pencils near it, because you'll just pill the paper. So I did go in with a little bit of that rose, what did we call it? What was it? Permanent Rose in the ears. So we've got a little bit of colour. Okay, where should we start? Should we do our little mice? So I've got the Derwent Chroma Flows, as I said. I'm so looking forward to using them again. I do love them. And I've got Willow and I've got Brown Sugar. So here's the picture. So I'm going to put that where I can see it. And we're going to try and do that. So let's start with this little lady here. I don't know who she is. Mrs. Apple sniffed the sweet air and went down to the kitchen. So this is Mrs. Apple too. To make a pot of elderflower tea, which is what she's making down the bottom there. She was a very kindly mouse and a wonderful cook. Okay. So let's I might need to sharpen them, I don't know. Let's go in with a few very light strokes of Willow, particularly around that hat. And she's got some around her little nose. I don't want to make it too dark. They're responding so well to this paper. It was just the lightest touch and I'm getting this colour down. And that's probably because we've put the watercolour down, and the water gives it a really nice, water gives the paper a texture. Okay, so tiny bit of Willow and then a tiny bit of Brown Sugar. I don't want to overdo her. Just want to bring out those colours just a little bit more. And then I'm really lightly just blending those little lines that I've put in. So in this one it says, I'll see if I can find some preserves, says Mrs. Eyesbright in the original book. And in the original book it says that this is Lord Woodmouse, hence his beautiful little waistcoat. Okay, let's do him too. So the same thing, let's put in some Willow. Gosh, they're so responsive. It's been a while since I've got them out, and well, they're out here with me, but I forget just how much I loved when I got them, how much I love them. The colours are amazing, and they're just so responsive. Yeah, so my lovely friend Becky brought me the books because I'd said about the nostalgia of these books, and she'd loved them too as a child. So they arrived this morning, and it's so exciting. But I will show you in a proper video, because my lovely friend Jackie, I don't know if you remember, she's made me some incredible things. Has made me the Alice toys in the past. We'll put that willow around her ear. She's made me another gift, so I want to show you that, because she's just so talented. It's incredible. Okay. We'll just softly bring that willow in around here, like that, and then we'll take the brown sugar. I won't remember the names, but they'll be on the screen, and we'll just pull that through lightly. Oh, I can't wait to have a go in here with some watercolour then now. Whole picture just in watercolour, that'd be incredible. Okay, let's do his little hand. So we'll have a tiny bit of the willow under here, and then a little bit of the brown sugar. Like that. We'll have a little bit of a little tiny bit of fur coming down from underneath the trouser leg on this one. Like that. Okay, so we've got our little mice's face done, and let's do what else have I got? I've got lots of colours out. Let's do the dark round in the window and his trousers. So I've got Lagoon and I've got Mariner here. So I'm going to come in with Lagoon round our little lady mouse, whoever she is. I mean, here it says Mrs. Apple. In the original proper book, like I said, she says Mrs. Eyesbright, so I'm not sure. Okay, so I'm going to bring that up under that little what do you call it? I was going to say valance, but you have that on a bed. What do you call the thing above the curtains? The swaggy bit. It's gone completely. Okay, and then we're going to bring in the Mariner. What do you call it? Oh, it'll come back to me in a minute, I suspect, when I don't need to know, as usual. Okay, there we go. So we've got the background part. Let's do his trousers while we've got these colours out. So I've got, I'm going in with the Lagoon again, and we'll make this bit dark, and under his little waist jacket, which is just adorable, isn't it? Bring that out, and then blend in that Mariner. And just by putting that tiny bit of watercolour underneath, it takes so much work out. And I'm not having to put any effort down at all to colour with these pencils. They're really quite incredible in this little book. So we do his pocket, and under his waistcoat, let's get that dark. Gently bring that down. And of course mine's not going to look like the original because we're using pencil and they're watercolours, but it's lovely to have the book to reference. It feels right, you know, trying to keep with the traditional colour that was used. It just feels the right, you know. They fit the images, that's what they were meant to be. When they were imagined, that's what they were meant to be, so it just feels right. So I'm just coming in, filling these little trousers up. I'm not going to fill them up all the way, I'm going to leave some gaps for that mariner. Okay, let's come in with mariner before I overdo everything like always. And we'll go back over the lagoon and bring out the mariner. Gosh, I hope anybody listening outside my window, it sounds really weird, doesn't it? We're going to go back over the lagoon and bring out the mariner. People must think I'm nuts. And then we'll just gently blend that mariner in, and then we can see if we need to deepen it up anywhere or do anything else to him. Okay, I'm going to bring in a little bit more of the lagoon, pull it in under here, just tidy this up. And then the mariner. It's a gorgeous colour, that blue. And then we leave him be. I think that's those are the only blues. And then I've got two lighter blues for his little jacket. I've got blue orchid and I've got light blue. So I think, let me just check. Where's my piece of paper? Yeah. So I'm going to use the light blue to start with because it's brighter, and then we can tone it down with the blue orchid. We are, and then we'll come over that with the blue orchid, just gently, just fill in those gaps. Gently, gently, gently. And back in a little bit with that bright blue. There we go. Is there any of that? There's a little tiny bit of him in here. Just in there, I think. It's showing in the book. Yes, there's his hand. Oh, look at that. I'd have missed that completely if I didn't have the book. Okay, let's go back to the mouse colours, and I'll just put those in. So it was willow and brown sugar, wasn't it? So I'm going in with a little bit of willow and a little bit of brown sugar. There we go. Oh, he's a very smart chap, isn't he? And there's a little tiny bit of blue in here. Very light blue, so I'm just using the blue orchid just to put a little tiny bit of blue there. Okay. What a very, very handsome, smart fellow. And then we're going to use these blues to do her curtains. So I'm actually going to come in with the blue orchid first, because I'm quite heavy-handed with the blue up there. It's quite dark. So I'm going to bring that down, cover those curtains. Oh, there's curtain. Oh, no, that's not. That's curtain here. Like that, I think. And then we'll come in with the bright blue. And then we're going to, with a gel pen, we can put the little design that's in them on them. And I think that bit is supposed to be dark blue right next to her. So I'll put that lagoon in there. There we are. Oh, so cute. Alright, let's try a, I think they're primrose, aren't they? The flowers, the little primroses. Okay, so I've brought out, I've got Golden Sun and Sandcastle. I'm going to sharpen them just briefly with my little hand sharpener, just so I get a really sharp point without wasting a load of pencil. There we go. So I'm going to come in, that was the M&R sharpener in case you're wondering, a little metal one, absolutely awesome. Sometimes really helpful when you just want, you just want to resharpen the point. Okay, now I've got sharpenings all over the page. Okay, so I'm going to come in with the Golden Sun, and we're going to do the centre of these little primroses and pull that Golden Sun out. Just, again, very gently. You've only literally got to touch this paper. I'm going to try and keep it soft, the image, in keeping with the watercolour. And then I'm going to come in with a little bit of the Sandcastle and pull that in just a little bit. Now if you didn't have the watercolours, let me get my chart out. I've just closed the book. Very annoying. Let me find it. If you didn't have the watercolours or didn't put watercolours down, you could use maybe the lemon would be good. Lemon and parmesan. That would be good. Okay. But I am going to leave that lemon because the lemon watercolour behind showing like that. I'm just going to go in and darken up the centre with the Sandcastle, is it? No, Golden Sun. And that's it. Darken up in that centre if you want to. Like that. And then this one down here, I'll use the Golden Sun and just pull out round that. Like that. So we try to keep the way that that little flower is facing, and then the sandcastle, and pull that up. They're actually so responsive, it's hard to get it to go really softly. It's a really good exercise if you want to practice doing your work lightly. I hope you can see. Let me bring you in just a tad closer. I know that sometimes I just come in too close. Yeah, but it's a really good exercise if you want to practice your light touch with pencils. Ages ago on my channel I did do a how to blend pencils video. Oh gosh, it was years ago I think now, but that was a really good exercise on pressure and getting two pencils to blend together. There we go. I've got a supply that I'd really love to use on this page, but I'm not going to, because I purchased it with my birthday money that my members and Patreons put together to send me for my birthday, and I don't like using stuff until I've shared it with you. It just feels like I'm cheating. So we've got all those others. We've done the odd shaped one, and the others are all exactly the same with those two colours, and I've given you the alternative for if you didn't do watercolour as a base. So I'm going to go off and finish all the little primroses, and then we'll be back and we can do the other details. So I'll see you shortly. Okay, let's have a look at the foliage around here. So I've got out light olive, olivine, foliage, spring bud, and I've got a little bit of pickle to give us that green brown, and I think we might even chuck in maybe some one of the brown sugar or something like that in there. So let's come in with light olive, and I want to pick out some of these darker bits of leaf in the background here and just sort of fill that in, these darker areas. And I'm going to kind of mishmash it in because that's how the picture looks. So sort of mishmash it in with that, the watercolours that we've put in there. Like that. So that's a little bit of olive. And I'm going to throw some pickle in here because it's got that brown look to it. So we might not need to add anything else other than the pickle. But just to give it that little bit of a brown tone. Let me bring you in. Here we go. So let's put some pickle in here. Like that, and definitely round his little feet. And under here. Put some in this leaf up here. in behind there. And then we can just come back with that light olive. Put a little bit of that in. And I'm just doing this lightly because we might want some even, you know, some more definite brown tone in there. Let's pull out some of these stalks with a little bit more pressure from that light olive. Like that. We'll put some in this leaf. And this one. Under there, that's dark because it's folded over, look. And we'll have a little bit coming down on this one. And from around that primrose. And then we've got the ivy leaves up here too, so put a little bit on the edge there. And up here on this vine. These are not finished, obviously. I'm just throwing some of the colours we've got at them, so just going one colour at a time, and just trying to pull that in. That should be a lot lighter, but I'm trying to cover that little bit of brown. A little bit on here. Although that's tree, I'm just going to put a little bit of that light olive in there. Okay. A bit in there. Alright, let's move on to, let's have another colour. Let's come in with a little bit of, yeah, let's do some foliage, because that's got a sort of yellowy green hue to it. And we'll plop some of that in. Be nice up here on these. Ivy. And we'll pull out that light olive. We can blend that out then with foliage. Oh, it's so hot. And I am moaning. I keep talking about my little Irish cottage that I would like, or Scotland, or Cornwall. I'm not built for hot weather. I would be very suited to the climate, I think, in Ireland or Scotland. I like sunshine, don't get me wrong, but we are, they're on about 33 degrees this weekend. I can't cope with that. I just have to die in front of my fan. No aircon, there's no breeze, it's just stuffy and sticky and humid, it's horrible. And yes, I'm a Brit moaning about the weather. I've said this before, but I think it's because we go from like 0, not degrees, but we go 0 to 100 overnight in the UK. So we'll have temperatures of like 10 degrees, and then you can wake up the next day and it'll be 29. You know, it's just bizarre. So you don't have any sort of time to acclimatise, or yeah, it's just weird weather. Okay, so we've got olivine now, and I think just by throwing these different colours in and sort of merging them, they all work together, but they've all got these very subtle changes in the tone, and with that watercolour paint underneath we can still keep that sort of painterly look without filling up every last section of these leaves like we've done with his clothes. You know, I've kept that very simple, but we can still keep that sort of watercolory look by just doing it softly, merging in some of these colours, and then we've got the last one colour which is very nice and bright, and but I've kept with the earthy tones because that's what's in the picture. So I'm just blending through any harsh edges. Don't see any more. Okay, and then I've got this lovely spring bud, which is a very bright green, but mixed with the colours we've already got down. That should just help us liven things up a little bit. And it's very, it's quite similar to the, well, it's not actually, the emerald green's much bluer, but it's quite, goes quite well with the emerald green. And see how it just sort of lifts those colours out. And we just get that sort of watercolory look just by mixing the same colour family. There, that's really cute. So I think I'm going to add, I think willow will probably be too dark. So I think I'm going to add some, let's try a little bit of willow in the dark areas, see what happens. Now we've got layers of green down. So a little bit more brown showing through in some of these places. Like the soil, and that's in the original picture as well. Mine's very different from the original picture, but hey ho. I will show you at the end side by side. Okay. I think that's like a root there. And then some under here. Just sort of brings it alive and brings it to life and separates out some of these leaves. Yeah, that's enough, I think. I'm going to come back with a little bit of the pickle. It's a bit more greener, a greener brown. And just blend that out. or blend it in rather, and then step away. Okay, stop. So I think let's take that that willow, which is lovely and dark, and put that in the tree. We are going to need darker, but I'm just going to put some of this willow in. I don't know that we will need. We need browns and greens, so just go over these. I'm going to go over the lines. Oh, I wish I could use this supply, but I'm not going to. That'll be my members WhatsApp group with my, if you can hear my phone going off all the time. It's brilliant. The conversations on there are amazing. We've learned all about each other, and you know, it's, yeah, we've made some really good friends. I'll bring that in a little bit on that ivy. A little bit on this as well. Okay. Alright, I want to go in with that pickle again. Yeah, pickle. I think it's a great colour for this. It's sort of neither green nor brown, but it's perfect, look. I want to leave some of that watercolour showing through. I don't want to get rid of it all. Soften off some of these edges. Okay, I'm going to get a darker brown, which would be, let me have a look. What have we got? Oh, we've got some lovely ones. Let's do coffee bean. It has the most amazing browns, this set. Here it is, coffee bean. That wasn't hard. Okay, let's add some coffee bean in here. Oh, leaving all my swatches. Oh, get off. Okay, let's put some coffee bean in here. In those branches too. Let's just bring out those, make the most of those black lines. Like that. Soften it off. It's really hard to, they're so responsive. I find it really hard to be as gentle as I need. It's probably because I'm boiling hot. But yeah, if you want a responsive pencil in a book, put a little bit of water in this book and do chroma flows. Wow. They're a delight. Honestly, it's a whole different experience. A little bit of water, some chroma flows. Wow, they're just lovely. I'm just going to come around this here. I think I'm going to take that pickle again. That's an amazing colour. It's like marine green in the Prismas, but probably not as dark. Okay, and step away again. And we need to do the little waistcoat. Let's take the brown sugar and the willow and do as, oh no, I think that might be too, I don't think that'll be red enough. Let me see, what have we got? Willow's red. Let's try willow and let's try a bit of willow to start with. Let me just see. Let's just blend that willow in like that. It's filled up that little gap there. A little bit of willow. We can put a little bit of let's put a little bit of the brown sugar in. Just blend that into that watercolour paint. Perfect, there we go. Oh, it's so cute. Okay, let me go off and do a little bit more planning of colours. We've got to do the window frame and I've got the ear colours actually. I've got Turkish Delight and Salmon. So I'm going to come in with Turkish Delight. It's a beautiful colour. And here, a little bit there. Now, if the ears are the wrong way round, don't blame me. That's how the book says it. Okay, I'm going to put a little bit of brown in that ear. So, a little bit of willow. Just around there. And then the salmon, which is such a pale pink. We can have a little bit of Turkish Delight on those little noses, which are adorable. And then we'll do Turkish Delight and the salmon on the feet too. What a disgusting combination, eh? Turkish Delight and salmon. Ugh. I love them both, but and we need that tail, of course. We've got that tail down here, look. So ooh, it does make a big difference not having the water on the page. There we go. Need a little bit of brown in there. A little bit more of the brown. Oh, that's coffee bean I've just shoved in there. Okay, alright, I'm going to go and do a little bit more planning for what colours we've got left, and then I'll meet you back here and we'll finish up. See you in a minute. Okay, so I think I've got some colours to do the window frames, and I've just looked, I want this pastel mint colour. Hang on. Oh, I'm rubbish. Here we go. I've separated the trays out so that I can see them easier, because I've told you before, but like I have dyslexic tendencies and I find it really hard to find these pencils. So for this little section, coffee bean, and I've got pastel mint, just to put a little bit of hint more green in the window, Dijon and mocha. So I'm going to come in with the Dijon and come round this window frame. Just muck it up a little bit, muddy it up. And we'll do the same here. Now on this bit in the book, they've done this bit like a dark wood actually. So we'll come in with coffee bean, pull that down. That's the only bit, yeah, just here. Coffee bean, and then we'll put that mocha in with that. There we are. Okay, back to our window frame. A bit more of the Dijon. And we can put a tiny bit of grubbiness up here, or reflection of grubbiness, shall we say. I mean, I'm sure she keeps an immaculate house. I'm sure she works very hard with her housework. And then we're going to come in with a little bit of the mocha in there too. Just a little bit. Like that. And then I'm just going to use this pastel mint, again lightly, just to put a hint of reflective green in there, right, because she's surrounded by so much green, it makes sense. Just a hint, like that. Okay, then we're going to take coffee bean, and I'm going to try and run down these window panes. Like that, and a little bit of the mocha if I can get that in. I don't want to ruin it because I can't. A bit more mocha there, maybe a bit more of some mocha here. Yeah, I don't want to ruin it because I can't keep my hands straight. Bit of mocha here, and they've got this bit's dark too, so let's do it from the inside. So we'll have the dark, I still can't think what that's called. I just keep going to think of, all I can think of every time I try and remember it is valance, but that's what you have on a bed, isn't it? Rubbish at these things. My memory does worry me sometimes. Okay, bit of Dijon. A bit of mocha. Blend that back again with the Dijon. What a cute little house. Okay. Alright, I'm going to take the Turkish Delight and the salmon again and to do her hat, but I'm just going to do it. Obviously this is going to be a bit brighter than the book, but there we go, and then salmon. I might take a bit of Prisma White. Can I find one? Oh lordy lordy. No. No, not without destroying the whole desk to find it. Okay, what else have we got? So we've got little stripes on her dress, so I'm going to come in with the Turkish Delight again, because they're barely visible, but we'll put them in anyway. And then these are her little paws, and she's got like, looks like half a bow there, so we'll stick that in. And I want a little bit of grey, so Turkish Delight and Salmon there. This looks like a little paw, so we'll come in with those paw colours. The willow. Is that a paw as well? We've left that white, I don't know why. And the spun sugar. I'm just going to put them in like she's folded her little, there we go, and like she's folded her little hands over. And then we need a grey just for this bit, so let's have a look. What is it, cold or warm or what? Let's go with Winter Lake. Oh, I'm straight to it, there we go. Let's have a little bit of Winter Lake just on this collar, just as a bit of shadow. Okay, and then we can paint pen the heck out of it now. So what do I need? Let me get I've got my Thule Art pastel set here. And I definitely want to go round the little primroses because they came out darker than I thought. So I'm going to come in with 23, which is a beautiful colour. It is Sweet Bee. And I'm going to take the black off these. And it makes such a huge difference. It really lightens up the whole thing when you remove the black outlines. So I don't want to do the whole picture this time. I did last time. I got too excited with my paint pens. But I don't want to do the whole picture. I just felt like these needed, mind his little whiskers. I felt like these needed lightening up. Like that. Such a relaxing process, this part. It's all gone very quiet outside, even the birds. I know you can hear the crow, but he's always here screaming. I think it's because it's so hot. I think they're all hidden themselves away, all the little birds. Oh, I can hear one now. There we go. Get in there now. I just want to show you the difference that makes. I think it makes a huge difference just having that little bit of outline on them. Just lightens them up a bit. I think I'm going to pick the ivy leaves out as well. Let you enjoy a bit of peace and quiet, folks, eh? There we go. Right. Little primrose is covered. Let's do... I'm just trying to see what might be a good... Number 4. Let's go in with number 4. I think it's light green. No, No, Dusty Mint, number 4. Let me just check it's working properly on my scrap of paper. Yeah, lovely. Okay, let's put some round this ivy leaf. A little bit down the centre there. Like that. Like I say, I don't want to do everything outlined, I don't think. Like that. Does look nice though, doesn't it? Here we go. Let's just pick out a couple of these leaves and do that, and then we'll I want to cover maybe with a gel pen or something that some of the stalks down here, make them really dark. This will just help to bring out some highlighty bits, and keeps that sort of watery colour look. I think it softens everything up when you take the dark edges out. Like that. We pick this one out here at the back because it's well defined. Like that. And this squiggly one here. Like that. Okay. And let's see. I want a dark green gel pen. Is that dark green? I don't know if I have a darker one than that. I do. Here, this one's dark green. That one's more of a bluey green. Dark green gel pen. And I'm just going to pull out some of these stalk lines. Like this. Maybe around that ivy a little bit. That. We should do some colouring with gel pens at some point. That would be good fun. Okay. My hands are starting to do the shake thing. Alright. And then I think I'm going to do a little bit more of these leaves. I do like it. With that same pastel pencil, marker. It's acrylic markers in case you don't know. So they don't bleed through. And they're permanent. Unless you make a mistake and you want to scratch it off, and then you can. Done it lots. Look how that softens everything up. It's just so lovely. Okay, and then the little one down here. And I've missed a little primrose over here. So let's do that. Okay, there we are. And then some white. I want a little bit on her collar. Ruffle that up. Like that. And then the curtains, it's got some kind of design on it. I can't quite make out what it is, so I'm just going to put some little dots, like flowers. There we go. So we have a pale blue that might bring out those curtains a bit better. So I've just chucked my swatch. Oh, here it is. Yeah, number 12, that would be great, which is powder blue. It's one of my favourite colours in here. Apart from number 2 is my very favourite because it just goes with everything. Number 3. Let's take them out and have a look. 12. There you are. Sneaking off in the corner, shirking its work. Okay, check it's working. Yep. And I'm just going to take out the edge of these curtains. Palmet. It's a palmet. Only took me however long this video is to work that out, but I did get there in the end. A palmet. That's what we call it. That's right. Okay. And I don't know if we want to take out some of the cream paper and just put a few white flecks in his little fur there. Like that, and maybe a little bit under her eye. Maybe a little bit top of his tail, around his little feet. Anything else? And that should have been left white, so I'm just going to colour that in white. Okay, I think I need to stop, folks. I think I need to step away. What a lovely little page. I've had so much fun doing it, and I'm so excited that watercolour works on here. So let me try and show you. This is the reverse page. So there's absolutely nothing. And that's got a pen under it. And here's so it's just laying flat. There's a slight crinkle here, not even a crinkle, just like a slight bow here, but I mean I don't know if the other pages have got that. I don't know, it could just be, you know, I think once I store it flat it will be perfectly fine. So I think I'm done. There might be another little stalk there, you know, when you stop and you step back and have a look, there is another little stalk under here. Just add that green in, that dark. Like that. And there. And there. Alright, I'm stopped. Alright folks, thank you so much for joining me. I hope you've enjoyed it as much as I have. I'm thrilled to find out that watercolour works in here really well. So my favourite picture in this book is, I'll show you, is this one. Let me come out and show you. Is this one in this oval window. I absolutely love it. And I think It is from the Spring book, and it's called, is it the Spring book? No, I think it's Poppy's Babies, I think it's from. And I absolutely adore it, so I'm going to try and do this in watercolour, I think. And no pencil, maybe a little bit of pencil, but I might have to just fiddle about here a minute just to bring things back to life a little bit. Take out some of that paint pen there. Better. All right, I'm going. Definitely going. All right, so I will be back on Monday. If you want us to do a mini one of this little gorgeous mousey down here, we can do, or if you want to do something else for Mini Monday, let me know. Or I might have more surprises. Yes, everything might be here by the time Monday rolls round, so I can show you those. But yeah, anyway, I'll stop waffling. Thank you for joining me. Have a wonderful weekend. Enjoy the weather if you're in the UK, if you like it hot. Make sure you use lots of sun cream. So until we meet again, take really good care of yourselves, and I'll see you very soon. Bye for now. Bye.